2323.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
Winston Churchill once said that success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And business, we talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information that you won't want to miss. It's a live show. And this week, we're talking all about telling your story. This week, we will be joined by guest Hank from Vapor for Life, Jim Kendall, and Dan Gelfand, along with the new Playmaker Spotlight. And at the end of the show, I'll be sharing tips on how to protect yourself when possibly terminating an employee. It's a live show. You can call us with your questions at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. You can find them at tandemhr.com or call 630-928-0510. That phone number, once again, is 630-928-0510. You can also email them, simplify@tandemhr.com. In this show, we like talking about entrepreneurs. We like talking about entrepreneurs with a story. That's why we have Hank. Hank is from Vapor for Life, and I realize it's a topic that, there's been a lot of discussion about, and, we like people with a story. So, Hank, welcome to Get Down to Business. Welcome to the program.
All right. Thanks, Shalom. Appreciate it.
So, Hank, tell us a little bit about Vapor for Life.
Well, first and foremost, we're a manufacturer of vape products. We are a technology company, engineering company that is trying to revolutionize how people quit smoking. We have 40 million consumers in the country right now, and 40% of them are actively smoking. And the current products out there are not working. So that's why we're in business and what we're doing.
So the first thing that an entrepreneur, the first thing that a business does is you do an environment scan. You understand what the rest of the industry is like. So when you say that it's not working, what do you mean?
Well, so smoking cessation, like the packs, the gum, they only have a 1% retention rate, right? So we are now trying to create a product that has about a 20 to 30% retention rate of people that are actively trying to quit smoking. So that's the next big step, and I think there's been a lot of poor media around these products, and I think there was that they were under-delivering consumer satisfaction, and they now need to kind of move into replicating cigarettes and moving away from these things that actually aren't working.
So is the Vapor for Life products, is it healthier than cigarettes?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wouldn't say healthier, but there's a lot of studies, especially in the UK, that are actively looking at the inhalation of vapor versus smoking. And it's 99.9% less harmful than the carbon dioxide that's inhaled by a combustible cigarette. So is it safer? Is it healthier? All I know is that it's less harmful. I'd say it's a harm reduction tool more than anything to help smokers kind of overcome their cravings.
So let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey, because I believe really everybody who is successful in business has a story of how they got started and how they're getting to that destination, because entrepreneurship is a journey. So tell us how you got started. How long has it been since Vapor for Life got started?
Well, so first and foremost, I am only the chief marketing officer of Vapor for Life. I've actually just moved into just being a part of the company as an investor and that sort of thing, and the inventor of Wow Vapor. But I guess my journey started out of school. So out of school, I moved to India, and I worked on American Indian joint ventures for Tata Engineering, Starbucks, Farty, Walmart, a bunch of different companies. And then I got back from India. I got hired by a Swiss engineering firm, and I moved to Chicago. And Chicago's kind of been home for the past few years, or almost a decade now. And I learned how to grow, develop, build, and create products that were highly engineering in the robotics industry. And then I got to work for a guy that taught me all the frameworks of how you go about doing that on a global level. Then my best friends here in Chicago, they owned a development firm of apps and websites and that sort of thing. they paired me up with an entrepreneur that had an idea. And I took a 4-page document all the way to Chicago's hottest startup in 2013. And then after that, I had a strong relationship with a guy named Ian Miller, who helped develop Diet Coke and Celebrex and V8 and a bunch of different companies. And he said, he's Australian. He said, mate, come be a consultant with me. I said, great, let's go ahead and do that. And we walked into Vapor for Life, which was kind of pioneering the e-cigarette business and industry. And I created a 100-day plan, and we executed to a level to where we saw some success. And then we realized, how can we take this technology to the consumer market? And that's when we created the Wow Vapor brand that's now being sold in select Walgreens.
Totally amazing. Totally awesome story. So what's next? You are helping a lot of people develop or support their journey to a tobacco-free lifestyle. But what's the next? Is it a new product? Is it a whole new line that you're coming out with?
Yeah, so it's the Wow Vapor line. It's called the V Kit. It's actually, we think of somebody going through this stage of quitting smoking in 3 stages. One is you have to replace the hit, but that needs to be low cost and needs to replicate the same taste and same feeling as a cigarette. So we have something called the disposable vape that's at $5.99 and $39.99 at select retailers right now that you can get that can replace the hit. Then second is you have to replace the habit, and that's when the V Kit comes into play. It actually allows you to start by having tobacco flavors and then moving into other flavors. And then once you move to that other flavor, we know that people don't move back to tobacco flavors and that they actually quit smoking. And then they slowly titrate down to 0. And that's why we have a brand promise at Vapor for Life called Road to Zero. Every consumable product that we sell has a 0 nicotine sample in it, so every consumer can try it to know that it's more of a mental habit than it is, and a physiological habit than it is really an addictive habit.
And Hank, where are your products manufactured?
They're manufactured in ISO 9001 2008 facilities, the highest quality facilities around the world. So they're top quality, most premium technology, and we are really excited about bringing the product to market to consumers.
So this show is all about providing the advice, the guidance, and the information to help other people develop their products. And you seem to be a marketing guru. So tell us, what advice would you have for somebody, one of our listeners that are out there that have an idea, that's trying to bring it to reality, to get the word out? Let's focus on the marketing component. What do you think has worked well for you in your various ventures? And now, of course, in your hat of Vapor for Life.
Yeah, so recently I actually own a digital advertising and marketing firm as well, and we have a methodology, and that methodology is three pillars. One is the story. You have to figure out, what is the story? What resonates with consumers? What is that personal sort of oomph that gets people to believe what you believe? So you have to figure out that story. Then after that story, you have to build creative around that story. Is that a white paper? Is that a website? Is that a video? Is that a case study? Is that a tweet? Whatever that story can be told in, build that creative. Then you have to find the right channel for that, right? Put that creative in the right channel. Is that a Facebook ad? Is that something that's on YouTube? Is that something that's on your homepage? Is that something that is essentially shared within the email, which is your own media? And then you have to optimize, right? You have to figure out, is this creative really fitting the right channel, and how do I make this more efficient in order to reach a larger, broader, more active, more engaging audience? So those are the 4 pillars I would share with people, is that, and especially in digital marketing in this world, especially as you're trying to build a company, you need a low-cost solution that creates high impact.
Great advice for entrepreneurs. So I can't. We're slowly running out of time, and I can't ignore what's flashing on my screen in front of me. I'm seeing the Clinton presidential announcement tweets have been viewed 3 million times. No doubt many of our listeners are, of course, tuning in to Get Down to Business, and that's consuming most of their attention. But likely they are looking at a TV somewhere in the corner of their eye. What advice would you have for our former First Lady and former Secretary of State? How can she market most effectively?
I think is to have an original story. Have an original story that resonates with people, and tell that story in effective channels.
Tell that story. Love that advice. Love that advice. Very, very helpful, and hopefully we'll continue telling your story, great advice for entrepreneurs, and great story of Vapor for Life. So, Hank, how can people get a hold of you if they want to continue this conversation and learn more?
Sure. Just follow me at Twitter, Hank Made, HankMade. Look forward to connecting with people.
Fantastic. Hank, thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business. After the break, you're going to be hearing the Playmakers Spotlight. You won't want to miss that. You are listening to the show that's all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We're going to be hearing from Dick Smith with some more advice, tips, and information for entrepreneurs. And later in the show, we've got Jim Kendall who's going to talk to us about branding your business. And, of course, we have Dan Gelfand who's going to talk to us about telling your story, continuing that conversation that Hank just started with us. You're listening to the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Get Down to Business is brought to you in part by Everett Wealth Solutions, a registered investment advisor and financial planning firm. You can call them at 708-771-7777, 708-771-7777. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.